Alright, guys, here's my message. It's just a question, right? Quick question. Does what other people think really matter? I mean, does it really matter? It's really easy to say that, but then there's acting it out. And does it really matter? Where will we be? Like, actual question. Where will we be in 100 years? Where will all of us be? And that answer almost spells itself out. So, I'm not suggesting a flippant attitude towards God or higher morality, but who cares? That person, that stranger, that individual, whoever, you're embarrassed to be like this or embarrassed to be like that. You're anxious about this, you're anxious about that, whatever the case may be. And believe me, I say this because this is my own therapy just about. Okay? Listen, everyone's gonna die. It's like Solomon said, everything is meaningless. Chasing after the wind. What do people gain for all of their work and labor under the sun, right? So that's not just nihilistic, There's it's a spectrum, There's another side of it. What's the other side of this borderline nihilistic, everything is meaningless, why care about what anybody thinks if we're all just gonna be dead in 100 years mentality? What's the upside? And it's like, there's grace. You're not dead yet. And that is an optimistic thought. I am not dead yet. So, there is grace to try, to fail, to press on. And everybody's been afforded this grace. And I don't care who you are, whether you believe in God himself or not, you have access to this grace. And your sacrifices, the sacrifices which you have to make, are secondary, but they don't save you. The things which you could give up in pursuit of the highest good are trivial matters compared to how you are using and utilizing this grace. There will be an accounting. The grace which you're using to live, and however way you're living, and how you're carrying yourself and how you're going about life, the way you take your steps, the way you take those breaths, the way you look at others, the way you look at yourself, the way you consider your place in reality. There will be an accounting. And grace, by definition of it, by definition of the word, is not for wasting time. Although it often affords that. There's room for that. But you never know when grace will run out. And this isn't God pulling the rug from beneath your feet. When were you promised tomorrow? We can say that in a secular sort of way, and it's still true. And I think that's indicative that it's truer than true. You're drunk. A lot of people are drunk on fantasies. They say, this is gonna happen, and then this is gonna happen, and then this, and then this, and then. You were never promised that. Who said you were going to have a good and ripe 80 years? Who said you were going to get to see your 30s? Who said that today was supposed to be the way that it was, or whatever? Who said? You are only in control of how you steward this grace, which you did not purchase yourself, because it's not bottomless necessarily, but it might as well be. There are people who spend their whole dang lives hanging on to that grace. God reaches his hand out and you grab it. You grab it. And then you go off and you do something else. Be attentive to what that is. And so why care about what this person thinks or that person thinks? Or to an extent, or even what you think? I mean, what do you know? To an extent, you should have some integrity and trust yourself, right? But it's like, what do you know? You're dust. And that's not just religious figurative language. It's kind of true. Scientifically. Right? So tackle that from however many angles you want. The reality is that you're dust. But this piece of dust hinges on the grace afforded to it, in which it is able to do right in the places of wrong, and it is able to propel itself forward, or spiral its way straight into a place somehow worse than hell. You decide.